Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. Prime Minister Andrej Plenković took part in a working lunch in Brussels today with European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker. The Prime Minister briefed the commissioners on what Croatia was doing to prepare for taking over the presidency of the European Council in 2020. They also spoke about the future of the EU and the bloc's strategy toward the Western Balkans, as well as touching on Croatia's border dispute with Slovenia.
Our objective is to join the Schengen area and the Eurozone. These are two major projects that will help us achieve our strategic goals. We want Croatia as the newest EU member state with 5 years' experience to be a part of the inner circle of member states. Since Croatia joined the European Union, it hasn't faltered. Everything that it has achieved indicates that it is determined and committed to the European project. Today, Croatia is a role model to others, and we congratulate them on this. Croatia could take over the presidency as early as tomorrow. To count on us accepting the arbitration ruling now is just not realistic. What is realistic is that we reach an agreement that is acceptable for Croatia and Slovenia. Along those lines, we have presented some ideas to our Slovenian colleagues. We believe our proposal is a good starting point for reaching an agreement.
I really do think that all the unsolved border issues in the Balkans have to find an answer before the accession of
NATO defense ministers are meeting in Brussels to discuss defense spending and burden sharing, new command structures, global and security challenges, and the alliance's cooperation with the EU. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg saluted the plans of NATO members to increase military expenditure.
To keep our nations safe, we need more defense spending, investment in key capabilities, and forces for NATO missions and operations.
President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović issued a statement today in response to critics who took issue with her remarks about the protesters who rallied on Monday in Zagreb against the state visit by Serbia's President Aleksandar Vučić. The president said her remarks were being, quote, maliciously interpreted.
In no way did I question anyone's right to protest. I have a lot of understanding for the widows of Croatian soldiers and for the veterans associations that exercise their democratic right and express their views on President Vučić's visit. When I referred to individuals from the margins of the political spectrum who should not be allowed to dictate our country's politics, I was thinking of extremists on the left and right, individuals whose actions and conduct cause great harm to the Republic of Croatia. They are neither widows nor Croatian veterans.
Interior Minister Davor Božinović has said that security during the Serbian president's visit was at the highest possible level and denied there was anything unusual about the fact that police made public the route along which the visiting president would be traveling. Addressing the issue of the border with Serbia, Božinović said policing the frontier along the Danube was becoming more challenging.
Given the number of attempts by migrants to illegally cross the border into Croatia, there is a temporary system in place, and that system will remain in effect until the border between the two states is determined.
There was more fierce debate in Parliament today over the government's handling of the Agro Quota crisis. This comes ahead of a meeting of the Sabor's Economy Committee tomorrow. Economy Minister Martina Dalić and Agro Quota's government-appointed crisis manager Ante Ramljak are scheduled to appear before the committee.
Lex Agrokor wasn't supposed to save the company. Its aim was to deliver Agrokor into the hands of its future owners. The goal was a takeover, and the HDZ brokered the transaction. It's clear that once the law expires, Agrokor will no longer be a Croatian company. Creditors, the Creditors' Council, and suppliers don't have an issue with the crisis management team. That's been established several times already. They support the crisis management team's efforts to reach a settlement. The aim of this law was to come up with a settlement that will ensure Agrokor continues to function. It is unbelievable that Prime Minister Plenković is still silent on this issue. Failing to take action is passive approval. That's why I say that this government of Andrej Plenković is merely an extension of the Ivo Sanader government.
People's Party leader Ivan Vrdoljak and Education Minister Blaženka Divjak unveiled today a digital platform where the public will be able to track progress on education reform. The People's Party says this type of transparent communication shows how committed they are to the reforms, which are supposed to start on a trial basis in 60 schools next fall.
There is an advantage to this kind of transparency. All of the activities will be explained, and if deadlines get pushed back, we'll be accountable to the public. However, I pledge to you, we won't fall behind.
If the only way they can implement this is through their own political party, it is clear that there is no agreement in the government on this issue, and education reform is simply not going to happen.
There is a huge gap between the demands of the Croatian economy and the country's vocational training system. This, according to vocational high school principals gathered at a conference in Opatija. They say their curricula and teaching facilities need to be upgraded. There is also a need for better coordination between the Croatian Chamber of Commerce and high schools.
We find ourselves in a situation where this year the Croatian government approved the import of 30,000 workers at the request of business associations.
In sports, the women's slalom at the Winter Olympic Games in Pyeongchang has been pushed back because of blustery conditions. Croatian skiers Leona Popovic, Ida Štimac and Andrea Komšić will be racing on Friday instead. This is the third alpine skiing event to be postponed due to high winds. Meanwhile, in the Southeast European Handball League, PPD Zagreb beat Macedonian side Metalurg Skopje 30-28 in Zagreb on Tuesday night. The win has all but mathematically secured Zagreb a place in the Final Four. Zagreb is currently second in the league with 31 points behind leaders Vardar, also from Skopje.
Tomorrow's forecast calls for sunny skies in many parts of Croatia, especially along the coast. The interior can expect some morning fog. After that, moderately cloudy skies. It will remain quite cloudy in the east. There will be a northeasterly wind along the entire shore with high to gale force gusts in the Velebit area. Morning lows will range from -10 to -5 degrees in the interior. Lows will be between -3 and 0 in the east and on the north coast, and between 1 and 5 elsewhere along the shore and on the islands. Highs for the day will be between 0 and 5 degrees inland and between 6 and 11 on the Adriatic. The three-day outlook calls for a foggy Friday morning, but skies will be partly sunny during the day. In the afternoon, it will turn cloudy in the north, and there is a chance of some light rain. Saturday will be dry, but more clouds are expected overnight into Sunday, when more light rain is likely. Temperatures will be cold Thursday overnight, but slightly less so over the next few days. On the coast, it will be mostly sunny on Friday with a moderate northwesterly wind in places. Morning temperatures will be quite cold. Cloudy but dry weather is expected on Saturday, but some light rain is in the forecast for Sunday.
And that brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.